हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, एक बार फिर आपका स्वागत है मेरी ऑनलाइन क्लास में। और आज का जो टॉपिक है दैट इज द कंसेप्ट ऑफ मेटामॉर्फिक जोन एंड आइसोग्रिड। बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है, खास करके एसोसिएटेड टॉपिक्स को समझने के लिए, जैसे मेटामॉर्फिक फेस है या पेट्रोजेनेटिक ग्रिड का कंसेप्ट है, उनको समझने के लिए बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। और अगर आपके सेमेस्टर एग्जाम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखा जाए तो भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन आने की संभावना है। तो माई सेल्फ जेपी सिंह, चलिए डिस्कशन स्टार्ट करते हैं। First of all, let's have a look on the content. We will discuss meaning of the metamorphic zones. After that, we will see the various type of metamorphic zones on the basis of different criterias. After that, I will tell you about the sequence of Brovin zones. Brovin is a type area, and you can observe the various type of metamorphic zone in this particular area. Actually, this is most studied area regarding this concept, so we will take this as a reference. Then we will see the interpretation of the observations. Whatever the observation taken in the Brovin area, we will see how the researcher interpret that observation. Then we will discuss the metamorphic reaction in the each zone. We will see various type of zones like chloride zone, biotite zone, and we will see what are the mineral assemblies there, which are the reactions responsible for these mineral assemblages. After that, we will also discuss the correlation of the Brovin zone to the metamorphic phases. As I told you, concept of metamorphic zone is also important to understand the metamorphic phases. So we will see the correlation between these two concepts. Then I will tell you some references for the further study on this topic. So first thing first, what do you mean by metamorphic zones? Actually, whenever you will observe a metamorphic terrain, you can identify the various zones in that area, and these are mappable units. Means you will observe in limited area different mineral assemblies and different mineral assemblies in this associated area. So these area of distinct fabric attribute, or we can say the mineral assemblies, are known as the metamorphic zones. Here you can see, suppose we are moving from low grade to higher grade in a metamorphic terrain, so you can observe the various units or mineral assemblies. So these mappable units are known as the metamorphic zones. Okay, but when you observe it in contact metamorphism, you can observe it in the ring form. Okay, so here you can see this is the core and this is the outer ring. Okay, so zone 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so in this way you can understand about the metamorphic zone. And what this metamorphic zone reflect? It reflects the spatial variation in the condition of metamorphism. Basically, when we observe any variation, that may be mineral assemblage variation or fabric variation, texture variation, that is somehow because of the condition in the metamorphism, variation in the condition of metamorphism. So similarly, we observe the various zone just because of variation in the condition of metamorphism. Okay, so the various zone indicate the following criteria. First one is the change in the temperature or variation in the pressure, as well as the variation in the nature of fluids. As we studied earlier, these are known as the metamorphic agents: temperature, pressure and chemically active fluids. So whenever there is variation in any of these agents, then we will observe that in the field. So the zone also indicate the state of stress or deformation in terms of qualitative as well as directional. Okay, so we can determine the stress direction as well as somehow the quality of the stress. Means that may be the hydrostatic stress, that may be the dynamic stress, that is tectonic stress. So we can determine these parameters also from the observation of the various zones. Okay, so the zone may be successive zones as in the regional metamorphism, or it may be in term of contact areoles when it is because of contact metamorphism. Okay, let's move forward. Now the type of metamorphic zones. There are basically there are two type of metamorphic zones, or we can say two criteria on the basis of which we can characterize the metamorphic zones or classify the metamorphic zones. First one criteria, that is based on the depth and also known as the depth zones. These zones are identified by the Grubman, so also known as the Grubenman zone, and these are the EP zone, meta zone, cata zone. But these zones are not very clearly defined, or we can say the boundary between these zones is not very clear. These are just based on the depth, and that is also not on a definite depth. So EP zone basically characterize the shallow depth, that is 3 to 5 kilometer. Meta zone is characterized by 5 to 10 kilometer depth, and cata zone is the deepest zone, that is greater than 10 kilometer. Okay, but this was not accepted much. So later on, the concept of isograde, or on the basis of isograde zones or simply metamorphic zone were identified by the George Barrow. Okay, and the criteria is the isograde. We will also see the definition of isograde, or we can say the appearance of index minerals. So index minerals are the minerals which are characteristics of particular metamorphic conditions. Means a mineral that is characterized by particular temperature and pressure conditions. So that is known as the index mineral of that environment. Okay, and these isograde zones by George Barrow was mainly observed in the pellitic rocks. Pellitic means fine grain metamorphic rocks. Okay, we already discussed about the protolith, so I hope you are aware about the pellitic rocks. So these are dominated by the clay minerals as the parent material. So on the basis of first appearance of index minerals, these zones are identified and named accordingly. Okay, so we will see more about the index minerals as well. Barrowian metamorphic zones. Barrowian is type area in Scotland studied by Barrow. So on the basis of this we can say them Barrowian metamorphic zones. So when Barrow observed in the metamorphic terrain, he will find the various zones, or we can say mappable units, and on the basis of appearance of index minerals. So the sequence whatever he observed or identified in the Barrowian zones are chlorite zone, biotite zone, garnet zone, sterolite zone, kyanite zone, and sillimanite zone. So these zones, as the name indicate, these are the characteristics, or we can say index minerals: chlorite, biotite, garnet, sterolite, kyanite, sillimanite. Okay, so these are the index mineral of particular zone, and these sequence is on the basis of increase in the grade of metamorphism. I hope you are well aware about the grade of metamorphism, low grade or high grade, medium grade. Okay, that are associated with the temperature pressure conditions. Now the chlorite zone, because this is of low metamorphic conditions, so you can observe slate and phyllite type of rock with the mineral assemblage chlorite, muscovite, quartz, and albite. Okay, so these are the characteristics mineral assemblage of this chlorite zone. Then biotite zone, biotite further increase in the grade. Here you will find phyllite, not the slate. So phyllite and schist with the mineral assemblage biotite, chlorite, muscovite, quartz, and albite. Okay, so here the index mineral is appearing, a new index mineral. Then garnet zone, here you will observe schist with the garnet, particularly almandine garnet. I would like to tell you there are 6 type of garnets. Okay, based on the composition and temperature pressure conditions. Okay, so stability conditions we can say. So in this zone you will find garnet, biotite, chlorite, quartz, albite, and oligoclase. then followed by sturolite. So here you will observe schist with the sturolite, with biotite, muscovite, quartz, garnet and plagioclase. Further increase in the grade you will observe kyanite zone. So here you will find schist with the kyanite, biotite, muscovite, quartz, plagioclase, or garnet or sturolite may be present or absent. Okay, further we will see the metamorphic reactions in particular zone, then we will able to identify which mineral will be present on which criteria. Then sillimanite zone, the highest grade zone identified by Barrow in that area is sillimanite zone. So here you will find the schist and gneiss, because it is high grade, so you will find schist or more commonly gneiss with the sillimanite, biotite, muscovite, quartz, plagioclase feldspar, garnet and plus minus sturolite and kyanite. These may be plus minus, means these may be present or absent depending upon the composition and other conditions. So here you can see that the first name of the zone is an index mineral like chlorite, biotite, garnet. Okay, so these index mineral are characteristics of particular metamorphic environment. So I hope here the concept of index mineral is clear to you, and various type of metamorphic zones. This is the type area studied by the Barrow, and here you can see this is the index, and on the basis of index you can see index minerals, and you can corresponding area where he find the, here you can see this is the chloride zone, then this is the biotite zone, then this pink area is the garnet, yellowish is the andalusite, then this dark blue is the kyanite, and this light blue is the sillimanite. Okay, so the basic purpose to show you this picture is that you can see in a particular metamorphic terrain you can find the various mappable units corresponding to the each metamorphic zone. Okay, now the interpretation. Up to this we have seen the observations. Now how the scientists or workers interpret the appearance of these zones in an area, the important types, or we can say important criteria first you must be keep in your mind is that the criteria of zone identification was the isograde. Isograde is basically the line which separate the zones. Okay, as we have seen various zones, so these are divided by a boundary line, and these lines are known as the isograde. Okay, so these are the isogrades, the line separating the zones. And what these lines reflect, these reflects the first appearance of index minerals. So when we move from this zone to this zone, you will find here the first appearance of index minerals. Suppose we are moving from chlorite to biotite, so here this is known as the biotite isograde, because biotite is appearing from here with increasing grade. Okay, so the index mineral may be stable in the higher grade zone as well. As we have seen the mineral assemblage, then it is clear that when we are moving from chlorite to biotite, so chlorite can be stable in the biotite zone as well. Okay, and biotite can be stable in the garnet zone as well. So a index mineral may be stable in the higher grade zone. So each index has a specific stability field in terms of temperature and pressure. So these index minerals, as I told earlier also, each index mineral will have a specific stability field. This diagram showing this stability field, here you can see the example of aluminosilicates. These are the kyanite, sillimanite, andalusite. Okay, so here you can see that along this axis there is increase in the pressure, along this axis there is increase in the temperature. So kyanite is stable in the higher pressure conditions. Okay, andalusite is stable along the temperature axis, so it is stable at low pressure but can bear the high temperature, and sillimanite is a kind of polymorphs of this group which can stable in both higher temperature and pressure conditions. So you will see sillimanite in the higher grade rocks. Okay, so this is about the stability field. I just put this picture to show you the idea about the stability field of various index minerals. Okay, now the metamorphic reactions and changes in each zone. We will see how the changes takes place in each zone, and keep in mind we are referring the pelitic rocks studied by the George Barrow. So in chlorite zone, what type of reaction will take place? There are two conditions. When we are started with a low grade area, the clay minerals will appear there. We can say up to diagenesis condition, montmorillonite, chlorite, illite. Okay, because we are talking about the pelitic rocks, so clay mineral will be common. So clay minerals are montmorillonite, chlorite, illite. Okay, then illite probably formed by the reaction between the orthoclase and kylonite. Again, this is the clay mineral and this is the feldspar. So illite is probably formed by this reaction. So as the temperature pressure condition increase, then what you will observe? You will observe the formation of illite, and further increase in the grade, illite become enriched in the aluminium and potassium and ultimately convert to the muscovite. So by the beginning of green schist phase, you will observe the mineral assemblage like muscovite, chlorite, quartz and orthoclase. Okay, so this is the mineral assemblage of this chlorite zone. Then in biotite zone, as the grade progress from lower to higher, the relatively aluminous rock, means the rocks which are alumina rich, you can observe pyrophilites as well along this mineral assemblage. But when the low aluminous rock, the common mineral assemblage will contain the K feldspar, that is microcline. So the mineral stability, or we can say the mineral reaction in this zone will be the chlorite plus, because of inclusion of the K feldspar, then biotite plus quartz plus H2O. Okay, you will also observe that whenever we are increasing in the grade, you will find escape of water, okay, in the reactions. So these are the changes in the chlorite and biotite zone. Then garnet zone. In garnet zone, the probable reaction will be chlorite plus quartz will form the garnet plus H2O. Okay, so as the metamorphic grade increase, Mn content of the garnet decrease. So most common assemblage in this zone will be muscovite, quartz, garnet plus biotite, and K feldspar may be present or absent. Okay, so this is the most common mineral assemblage or most stable mineral assemblage in this zone. In aluminous poor rocks, that are also known as the semi-pelitic rock, so the mineral assemblage will be muscovite, quartz, garnet, biotite and K feldspar. In highly aluminous rock, where alumina or aluminium quantity is high, then mineral assemblage would be muscovite, quartz, garnet, chlorite and maybe pyrophilite. Okay, in aluminous quartzite, then you will observe quartz plus kylonite, that is again clay mineral. This reaction will form kyanite in green schist phase. Okay, so these are the major changes in the garnet zone. Then moving to stearolite zone. In stearolite zone, again you will find, as it is marked by the first appearance of stearolite. So in aluminous composition, the likely reaction should be kyanite plus garnet plus chlorite will form stearolite plus H2O. But in the biotite bearing rocks, reaction will be a little bit different. Then garnet plus chlorite plus muscovite will form stearolite, biotite plus minus quartz and H2O. Okay, so These are the reactions in the steroid zone. Then kyanite zone. Keep in your mind that we are taking the consideration of the increase in the grade as well as the little bit variation in the composition among the pellitic rocks. Okay. Then kyanite zone, in biotite bearing terrain, the probable reaction would be steurolite plus muscovite plus chlorite will form kyanite, biotite, quartz and H2O. With increase in the metamorphic grade, the stability field of the chlorite will shrink to progressively higher Mg composition. Means you will find very little chlorite with increase in the metamorphic grade. So in few rare rock, especially Mg rich chlorite may coexist with the sillimanite. So the possible reaction is the chlorite plus muscovite, that will form kyanite plus biotite plus H2O. Okay, so kyanite or sillimanite depending upon the composition. So basic observations are that you should be aware about the grade as well as the metamorphic reactions which are showing the changes in a particular zone. Okay, so on the basis of these reactions you can justify, or I can say the workers interpret what are the possible changes in a particular zone. Okay, now sillimanite zone, this is the last zone observed by the Barrow in his research area. So in particular Barrovian type area, the transition is evidences by two mineralogical changes. One is the change from kyanite to sillimanite and disappearance of steurolite. So you can observe these two changes in the reactions. So steurolite plus muscovite will form sillimanite plus garnet plus biotite and plus minus quartz. So in the higher grade, the stable mineral assemblage is quite simple, that is muscovite plus quartz plus biotite plus sillimanite and plus garnet. This is the stable mineral assemblage at higher grade in this zone. It is interesting to see that in the pellitic rock, two minerals are quite common which you can observe in many zones, and these are the garnet plus alumina silicates. Okay, until the amphibolite phase, you will observe these two until the amphibolite phase. So second interesting observation is that Barrow did not recognize the higher grade than the sillimanite grade, but later discoveries show that some more changes also appear, like the disappearance of muscovite at much higher grades. Okay, but as per study of the Barrow, he observed up to the sillimanite zone. Okay, so these are the major zones identified in the type area Barrovian, that is Scottish Highland. Now another important and interesting concept is the correlation of Barrovian zone to the metamorphic phases. We already discussed about the metamorphic phases, and metamorphic phases are all about the stability conditions of particular mineral assemblage. So we will see what is the relation between a phase, means metamorphic phases, and Barrovian zones. So in zeolite and parenite pampelite phase, mineral reaction are not well defined. So we are somehow dealing in the diagenesis conditions. So the common minerals at the green schist subgrade are clay minerals, especially illite, as we have seen earlier as well. The most common clay mineral or most stable clay mineral up to sub-blue schist phase. We are talking about the sub-blue schist phase. Okay, so if we observe more, I will say deeply, then metamorphism is actually start at the green schist phase. So in green schist phase, that is corresponding to the chlorite and biotite zone of the pellitic rock. Then amphibolite, the most of the zone you will see falling corresponding to the amphibole phases, as we discussed in the previous slide as well, where you will find the garnet plus aluminosilicates, kyanite, andalusite, sillimanite. Then grunolite, on the basis of pressure factor can be divided into two parts. At pressure below 10 kilobar, then the corresponding zone reaction would be K-feldspar plus garnet plus cordierite and plus minus biotite or orthopyroxene. But at above 10K means at greater depth characterized by the orthopyroxene and kyanite. Okay, so from this mineral assemblage you can compare the phases with the zone. Then blue schist, the characteristics of this metamorphic phases is in the pellitic terrain is lack of biotite. Garnet is present along with some iron manganese rich rocks or particularly iron rich rocks, and sodium amphibole may be also present in blue schist phase. In eclogite phase, at low temperature eclogite phases are similar to those of blue schist phases. So chlorite, perrhenite, fangite and quartz are dominant minerals. But at higher temperature you will see a unique lithology, that is the white schist, characterized by the instability of the biotite and chlorite. So kyanite and the talc are the stable along with Mg garnet. As I told you earlier, there are 6 types of garnet. So here you will observe the Mg garnet. So this is the relation between various metamorphic phases and zones. Okay, so this is important concept. These are the references: Essential of Igneous and Metamorphic Petrology by Frost and Frost, then Igneous and Metamorphic Petrology by M.G. Best, and the most common book for the Igneous and Metamorphic Petrology, that is the J.D. Winter. Okay, so for the further study on this topic you can refer these 3 books. So this was the part of our detailed discussion on today's topic. For the quiz you will find the Google quiz in the description box of this video. You can attempt that quiz. Okay, so again we will meet in the next class with new topic. Till then, keep learning, keep sharing, be happy. Jai Hind.